Hey, what's up, guys? I'm going to be doing a movie review today, and that is Wes Craven's Shocker. It came out in 1989, and it stars Peter Berg, Michael Murphy, Mitch Pileggi as Horace Pinker, and Cammy Cooper. Basically, the movie, it's about the serial killer in this town who has done several murders. He's on the news and everything, and he's a television repairman named Horace Pinker. And people are investigating, they're trying to find him and such. And there's this kid, watching the, TV. He's watching the news story and everything. He's the captain of the football team at a college. And he's in an adoptive situation. You find out that he has a detective as a adopted father, and his adopted father is trying to find Horace Pinker, because this is still an ongoing investigation. And Jonathan, he falls asleep one night, and he has a dream, more like a nightmare, about Horace Pinker, and he's at his foster home. And basically what's happening as he's dreaming, this is really happening. So he sees two of his adoptive sister and brother. I think it was a brother and sister. He sees them dead. And then he sees his mom with Horace Pinker, and he's ready to kill her. And Jonathan tries to stop him, but before he can stop him, he wakes up. And he gets the phone call from his dad, the detective. And it really happened. The dream was real. And he tries to go to the house. He can't, he can't go into the crime scene, but it's revealed to him. He finds out. And then later on, he talks to his adoptive father and tells him about that he saw this madman. He could smell the blood. He knows what the guy looks like. So in his dreams, he has visions, like a medium. So his adoptive father and him go and investigate and try to find out. He actually found out what the car looked like, Horace Pinker's car. He drives a van, and he knows where he works at. So they go to the location, and they break in and search the place. And throughout, they eventually catch him. And then Horace Pinker does some kind of ritual before he's sentenced to be electrocuted. He does some kind of ritual with the TV. I'm not quite sure what that is supposed to indicate, but when he does get electrocuted, before he does get electrocuted, it is revealed to Jonathan Parker that Horace Pinker is his father. That's why he has his limp. You know, when he walks, it's because Jonathan shot him in the leg when he was a kid, trying to stop him. So then Horace Pinker, he gets electrocuted, and everyone thinks he's dead. But when they try to find his body, it just disintegrates. You know. And then what happens? He becomes an electrical current. Because that ritual he did before he got electrocuted, that ritual, that thing he did, made him more powerful. Because I guess he was into the black arts or whatever. And made him powerful, you know, life after death, basically. And now he's a current. He can go in and out of TVs, in and out of people. He can possess them, take control, and use their body up until he goes into another person, another victim. And basically why he's doing this is to still kill and go after Jonathan Parker, his son. And he goes in one of the bodies of a police officer, a little girl, a construction worker, and they're all going after Jonathan. And he goes in one of his coach. He goes in one of his coach trying to kill Jonathan as well. Before all this, I'm kind of going a little too forward with it, but Horace Pinker did kill Jonathan's girlfriend. I forgot to mention her. But Jonathan's girlfriend later on becomes a ghost. And she's visiting him in dreams and in the real world as well. And she stops Horace Pinker. And, you know, every time he tries to get close to Jonathan, she stops him. And she pushes him away. So she's kind of like Jonathan's guardian angel in a way. She's all kind of white, kind of like a ghost. The special effects back then was kind of like that. She had this like white dress. And yeah, and they had this, she has this necklace that he gave to her, and she wants him to have it, and it's to protect him. You know, their love conquers all, basically. And whenever he's in trouble, all he has to do is use that necklace that he gave her. And Jonathan comes up with the idea with his friend to turn off all the power in the neighborhood. He has this brilliant idea to capture Horace Pinker out of TV, because he goes into out of TV and he goes into bodies and such. But what he does is well, it's a cool ending where both of them are fighting in TV land. It's really cool. It's like flipping through different channels of different things. Leave It to Beaver, Alice Cooper, The War, John Tesh makes an appearance as well. That's the way it is. It's pretty badass. There's one scene where it shows Horace Pinker and Jonathan fighting, and it's at the Frankenstein movie. Call 911. It's pretty wild, crazy stuff going on. It's a really wild movie. It's got so much going on with it. Um, yeah, uh, but basically after they fight in different, you know, episodes, different TV shows, both Jonathan and Horace Pinker get out of TV, and that was Jonathan's plan, was to turn off all the power while he's out. And while he's out, he can't, if he can't go back into like electrical, like an outlet or a TV or anything that's electrical, he'll disintegrate and die. And that's what happens. All the power goes out, and Horace Pinker is gone. And Jonathan looks up in the stars, has a little sweet moment with his girlfriend talking to her, and the movie ends. This movie was pretty damn good. I really enjoy this one. It does get a backlash from fans because they compare it to the first Nightmare on Elm Street film, saying that this is kind of a copy. I don't see the comparisons. I really don't. This movie is unique and different than Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't see how this is the same. Why? Because he has dreams? Because he has a medium? Because he has his girlfriend come to him as a ghost, or he can see things in dreams? I mean, it's not like it's a totally different concept than Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't get the comparison. And this is a very well-made movie. Very entertaining. Doesn't feel like a 2-hour film. It goes by really quick. A lot of stuff going on. Really, he got really wild with the ideas. And I think Wes Craven made a very unique movie. You know, the whole possession thing, he used an interesting twist to it with electrical current possessing people and going in and out of TVs, going into outlets, to furniture. At one point, the chair has eyeballs of Horace Pinker and is trying to grab a hold of Jonathan as he's sitting down. There's a lot of interesting visuals in this movie. Very, very innovative, very interesting. A very creative film written and directed by Wes Craven. There were plans to make sequels to this movie. And the movie was a moderate success. I think the budget was $5 million. The box office was like 16, 17 million. So it made over its budget. But because of the backlash, I guess they decided not to make more of them. But it was a success. And it has a killer soundtrack as well. The main song, Shocker, is awesome. I have the soundtrack on the CD. And that's a cool soundtrack to the movie. I like most of the songs. The Megadeth song is cool. No More Mr. Nice Guy, a remake to Alice Cooper song. What was the other one? Sword and Stone. I like that one too. It's a good one. And yeah, I mean, not much more I can say about it. It's definitely one of my favorite Wes Craven films. Nightmare on Elm Street, that's my favorite of all. But I would say this is my second favorite. I definitely like this a lot better than Scream. Now, nothing against Scream films because I enjoy those as well, but a lot of people, when they think of Wes Craven, they think of those two franchises, Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream. And I think Shocker is better than Scream. Honestly, Shocker should have been a franchise, because I would have loved to see where they would have went with part 2. That would have been awesome. But great performances by Peter Berg. Kind of wish I could see more movies with him again. He now directs really high budget films. He's done pretty well for himself. The rest of the cast, Mitch Pileggi, he was in X-Files, Supernatural, those TV shows. I've seen him. I see him quite often. He's still working. The other people, I don't see them. But, and unfortunately, Wes Craven is no longer with us. But I'm a big fan of his films. I enjoyed all of them, for the most part. And, anyways, this is my review of Wes Craven's Shocker. It's a kick-ass, badass movie. Everything about it is gold. Great cover, great movie, great everything. And I hope you enjoy this review, and I hope you have a good day. All right. Talk to you later.